And I'm Ripley.
And I'm John.
And this is Comicsplaining,
the show where it's the season finale. We still haven't decided what makes the next season.
No, but we've got a while to figure it out.
We'll figure something out and be like, it's the end of the season because John Byrne left art.
Maybe we should just wait another 93 episodes.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty standard
It's
season
good
size,
number.
93.
And then see what's happening then, and it's this guy. This guy's the thing that changed
BBC thinks they're gonna have those teeny tiny seasons? Well, check this shit, Brits.
Oh yeah, as we discussed last time, this episode is the season finale, but Ant-Man came out this week, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish covering these 3 issues of Thor, and then we're gonna talk about Ant-Man, and then next week's episode is gonna be the first episode of season 2, and at the end of that, we're going to have a little retrospective on Stan as a writer and a creator. So with that all said, can you guys tell me what happened last time?
Kind of.
Okay,
I know it wasn't... They beamed their powers in the last one, right? Not the one before?
The second one, actually.
Okay. So, Thor, I don't know, turned into Dawn to find out some shit about what the fuck was going on with Odin, and for some reason that worked because Infinity doesn't care about humans.
Which tracks,
Which
given
it
what we
does
know about
track
Infinity.
what we learn, because what we learn is that Infinity is just Odin. It's just Odin, except, like, the woke up on the wrong side of the bed part of Odin that Hela pulled out of him when he was in his pill capsule.
this is bad Odin, and bad Odin has taken over Odin.
Yeah.
Which,
Odin.
You would think that would make him normal, but it does not do that.
No.
So then everybody just beams their... Well, Loki and Carnilla have to combine their magic with a gadget, and that does something.
That freed the Warriors 3.
Okay.
That was way at the beginning.
And then they also had to combine their powers again, but this time not with a gadget, to yeet the powers
No. That was a separate occurrence.
Oh, okay.
Loki was not involved in yeeting the powers of everyone to free Odin.
I don't remember what the second
that's because it really amounted to absolutely nothing, and nothing happened.
That would was this the one with the hat?
Yeah.
The time when they used Loki's hat?
Yeah. Okay, well then, that happened for a reason that I definitely know but cannot explain because it's far too complex.
Or is meaningless.
And then they shot their powers across the galaxy, and I don't know, that made Odin fine again.
Yep.
And so Odin came back and was like, yeah, but Hela's gonna kill you.
Yeah, Hela has turned full villain, and she's gonna take you.
Do not turn into Thor. You are grounded to be Dawn while I figure out what to do about this.
Yeah.
So he's down there being Dawn, and then Hela shows up looking fine. Just fine as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And then she starts killing firefighters to
But
get
she's a
Thor's
good
attention.
Don't worry.
She's misunderstood.
She's misunderstood. She's the good death.
Yeah, she's gentle and kind.
As she kills people.
And dogs.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's definitely everything that happened with all of the nuance that was conveyed in the original storytelling.
Yeah, so she saved the life out of some firefighters, and Dawn heard that on the radio and immediately turned into Thor because he has a fucking complex or something.
He's a hero!
And he flew off to go save people from a building fire, and then Hela was like, haha, you are mine now.
Wow, we really summed that up quick.
Yep. I mean, it really wasn't a lot of substance, to be honest. So the next issue that we're going to be reading is Thor number 190 from May of 1971. Written by Stan Lee, penciled by John Buscema, inked by Joe Sinnott, and lettered by Sam Rosen.
And so to die.
To die. As she approaches, Hela reverts to her godly raiment, no longer seeing any need for disguises.
The disguise was really pointless to begin with because she just was like randomly killing people out in the open anyway.
Like floating.
Yeah. We didn't mention that she was hovering like a good 10 feet in the air.
Wasn't hugely relevant.
A terrified crowd watches as the God of Thunder prepares to face death itself.
Because they definitely know who she is.
Yeah.
She does announce herself, I suppose.
Yeah.
She's very public about it.
Once again, we do the whole song and dance of Thor saying that he's going to fight, and Hela saying that if he does, she will kill the innocent bystanders, and Thor being like, God damn it, I guess I can't do anything then.
Oh, right. Baldur swore allegiance to Karnilla for some reason.
To save Thor from death.
That's right.
Did it?
Well, he tried. Meanwhile, Baldur the Brave lies recovering from his fight with Loki. That's right, he stopped Loki from telling Hela where Thor was, basically. But then Hela found him anyway, so it was pointless.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
He tosses and turns on the bed where he was placed, unable to find rest, for his heart is conflicted. He disavowed all that he holds dear to save the life of his friend, but in truth he does love Karnilla. And if she loves him in return, why then must she be an enemy to his people?
I like that he sleeps with his sword on.
Well, Odin put him there, so...
Fair. That is true. He did cradle him in his arms.
The son, he actually... No, if that was his son...
That is his son. Marvel is simply wrong.
It's true. She appears in his dream, and he begs her to release him from her spell. But this is no dream, which she assures him as she appears in the room with a puff of smoke. She comes to warn Baldur of the Odinson's predicament. As soon as she finishes explaining the situation, he dashes off to go tell Odin.
That's fair.
The man himself is in the throne room.
Oh, that is a look.
Brooding in a new hat.
Odin gets a new fit.
Yes, he does.
Baldur quickly tells him what's going on, but the Allfather responds with a resounding, "Damn bro, that sucks."
Was Baldur Boner reappearing?
I feel
well, he's tossing in bed and, like, clutching at the sheets, like, oh, Karnilla.
I think that's a fair call.
Yeah, that's a... Baldur, my guy.
Apparently, after thinking on it for a while, he decided that there's nothing he could do to save Thor, and he's not going to try.
Okay.
Baldur's like, what the fuck? He asks why Odin can't just kill Hela, and Odin is like, well, I could, but it would cause problems, and I'm not going to say anything else about it, so don't ask.
I mean, I think that's a fair case. I think killing Death would probably come with some problems.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, we can imagine what the problems would be.
If you kill Death, that's a problem.
If I kill Death, I become like unto a god, and then no one can stop me.
Baldur turns to Karnilla and asks her to show Odin what she showed him, hoping that the sight of his son on death's door, so to speak, will spurn the Allfather to action. The Norn Queen conjures an image of the Thunder God, lying prone at the feet of Hela, mere moments from certain doom. It works, somehow, as Odin proclaims that the mighty Thor shall live! With his back against a wall, Thor has nowhere to run and no options left. That is, until he hears a cry for help, and turns to see the humans nearby fading out of existence. He immediately assumes that the Death Goddess has gone back on her word and is killing the onlookers, which frees him to act. He spins around like a top and shoots off into the sky to lead her away from Earth, and then strike once she has lost his trail.
What? That's a lot of things to happen.
However, to Hela, this may come as a surprise to you, but to Hela, all of time and space are one.
What?
And therefore running away won't work because she is everywhere always, because death is everywhere always. And this is cool in theory, I guess, except just last issue she was unable to find him because of some illusions.
Also, it kind of takes some of the urgency out of the storytelling.
Yeah.
This is probably one of the worst cases of Stan contradicting and sabotaging himself, because for the past few issues he's just been doing that constantly with Hela specifically.
If she could do this the whole time.
Okay, so would we call this Deus Ex Odin? Because he did just come down from on high to save the day, but it wasn't really like a full story ending save.
He didn't really, and nothing is really saved because Hela's still after him. I wouldn't call it that.
Yeah, I was conflicted about it. That's why I wanted to see what everyone else thought.
Anyway, because she's everywhere always, she just sends him back to Earth somehow, and the face-off resumes.
Why?
Why is that a thing she can do?
I don't know. At least until the landscape seems to warp around them, buildings distorting as the ground shakes and heralds the arrival of Odin.
I hate when Dad shows up and stomps on the ground and then the building fucking bends.
He Salvador Dali'd the buildings. Good job, Odin.
Absolute unit.
He points his scepter at the death goddess and delivers a monologue about how cool he is. But she's completely unimpressed. She knows that he won't actually kill her, and therefore his threats are empty.
Don't you point that wand at me.
She reaches toward the mighty Thor, her victory assured despite Odin's presence, for even he dares not defy death. And yet, for the life of his son, Odin dares!
Oh.
A beam of light shoots out of his scepter with a deafening crack, landing squarely between Hela's shoulders and engulfing her in a sizzling energy. Though her touch finally reached him, Thor watches as she falls to the ground, herself extinguished. He has no time to be relieved by his own salvation, however, as he ponders the consequences of his father's actions.
I'm pondering the consequences too, though, but I'm starting to wonder if there are any consequences, because if you kill Death, doesn't Death just go back to Death's house?
We'll see.
Respawn!
We'll see. Before dealing with that, Odin sets right the things that he changed, because it was him who made the humans disappear and warped the buildings. All as attempts to save time. Then he sits on a rock as Hela's body is covered in a gentle light. Thor is grateful, but finds it difficult to accept this exchange, for Hela's death will lead to disastrous consequences in the mortal realm. While Odin seems to be proud of him for thinking of the humans before himself, he still isn't willing to let him go that easily. Then Thor says some of the most Thor shit I've ever read. Thor hath been thy son in life. Shall he be less in death? Believe me, father, I find life sweet, and have no wish to die. But let me die 1,000 times, rather than cause the calamity which is to come.
Oh.
That's my boy right there.
I want to find out what this chaos that's coming is.
Well, we're gonna find out.
Ooh.
The golden-haired god takes off across the globe to witness the chaos that has already begun. Without Hela, there is no death, and Stan actually explores that in some ways that I never considered. Firstly, there's a plague of insects. Bugs multiply pretty rapidly, but that's mostly to make up for their short lifespans. With no death, however, they just breed continuously until they begin to take over pretty much everything.
Oh no.
After that is the overgrowth of plant life. Plants, unable to be killed, growing out of control and choking everything in their path. And of course, typically, the growing human population poses its own issues as people begin to fight over shelter. These are all interesting things to explore, but according to the narration, it all gets out of control in a matter of minutes.
Right.
Which really just undercuts the whole thing by making it completely unbelievable.
Okay, we gotta do something about the environment.
Like, the bug thing I feel like might take the least amount of time to become a real problem, maybe a week.
I'm intrigued by all these concepts, but they don't work for a short-term
No.
dystopia.
No, this
The
is
plant
not.
thing isn't going to be a real issue for a couple months at least.
Population explosion.
And I think humans could probably go a couple of years before people started rioting.
I think they'd go years before noticing that people
Right.
aren't dying in sufficient numbers.
I think IRL, if people stopped dying, it would mostly result in a rise in homelessness.
Yeah.
Which over time could lead to other problems, but, you know, we all know that the issue with that isn't really that we don't have places to put people.
Mm-hmm.
It's also worth considering that just because they can't die doesn't mean they can't be infirm to the point of needing care.
Right. Anyway, Thor returns to his father with grim tidings. Odin asks if he's really sure about what he wants, and he is. For the sake of the earth, Hela must live, and Thor must die. With tears in his eyes, Odin says goodbye before undoing what he has done. Hela returns to life and is immediately smug about it, which seems in poor taste.
Right, it also seems like, girl, that's a quick way to end up getting yourself re-killed.
The god of thunder slumps to the ground, and his father cradles him in his lap as he begins to age, withering to a shell of his former self.
Wow.
Odin decides to do one last thing before the end. With a wave of his hand, he calls forth Sif to say goodbye to the man she loves. But she can't just accept this. She turns to Hela, pleading with her, woman to woman. There is still time to stop this, and while Odin will not beg, the lady Sif is both willing and able. She asks that Hela take her life in exchange for the life of her beloved, and the death goddess is moved by her devotion. So moved, in fact, that she releases the mighty Thor from her sway and retreats to her realm once more, declaring that she will wait until his proper time has arrived. So Deus ex Sif.
What? And so everything is fine.
Everything's fine.
On page 17.
Thor embraces his lady, thanking her for saving him. He also notes that Odin doesn't seem particularly surprised by this turn of events, and wonders out loud if his father knew that this would happen. But Odad refuses to answer and whisks them all away to the Bifrost.
Well, Hela's like, I'll get you next time, gadget.
Yeah. So they go to the Bifrost, where they are immediately assaulted by a storm giant, who proclaims that Heimdall is gone, and the giants now control the Bifrost, and he's going to kill Odin now.
Do they?
Thor's like, nah, and very casually hurls Mjolnir through his head, before the three of them stroll on across the Rainbow Bridge and through the city gates.
I can't believe Heimdall's not here. His workplace was broken like 5 minutes ago.
It's true.
Calm down.
Several things are amiss, it seems, as the gates lie shattered and the city in ruins.
I saw evil in... Oh, no.
Oh, good lord.
Trolls squat behind the rubble as the Asgardian trio makes their way back to the palace. I'm sure no one will be surprised to hear that while both Odin and Thor were gone, Loki brought an army of giants and trolls to Asgard and took the throne.
That
In, like, the past 5 minutes.
I think that would have gotten me bingo on last time's Thor.
Well, I definitely get to cross off Loki gets a new fit.
Yep.
And it's fucking awful.
Well, hang on, I'm getting there. You might be a little surprised, like I was, to see the Odin ring come up again.
Oh my god.
How did he get that?
As Loki says that Odin left it behind, and they found it, which makes them king now. We already did this. The ring means nothing. The power comes from Odin.
Oh.
You are repeating yourself, Stan.
Oh, Loki is speaking in the third person.
Yes,
oh my
they
god,
are.
Loki is.
However, I would like to point out this is not a new Loki fit. This is the exact same fit Loki was wearing last time they had the Odin ring.
Okay.
I guess Stan really liked the idea of the ring and decided he wanted to do it for real this time.
Oh, God.
Because Odin just kind of accepts that this is happening and tells Thor to stand down.
Wait.
It doesn't matter, he has the ring!
He's got the ring.
Hold on. Was Sif being emotional because she's a woman?
Yeah, obviously,
yeah,
yes.
she definitely was.
God damn it.
She literally appealed to hella woman to woman. Come
Fuck.
on.
Yeah.
Loki says that they're going to conquer other worlds, starting with Earth. Oh, also, Carnilla and Balder are working with them.
Okay.
So that's the whole issue.
God.
What did you guys think of that? The sudden left turn at the end into a fucking story that we already did.
2 stars.
I'm crossing off Stanger
I'm not angry enough, but oh my god.
because this is not good.
I can't even summon up the outrage anymore. I'm just tired, man.
I'm angry because that was the end of the story, effectively the end of what was started.
Yet again, we get cool fucking ideas, and then instead of following the road down to where they go, we just right off the cliff.
And this time into a valley we've already crashed into.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even a new valley.
I mean, it would
The
be...
whole valley's just pockmarked with crashed cars.
It would be one thing if it was just like, oh, Loki took over while they were gone. Like, fine, whatever. Boring, but
fucking
fine.
Odin ring.
But
The
bring up the
same
fucking
way.
ring again when we already... Not only just to bring it up again, but also when we already established that the ring does fucking nothing.
Also, like, we can't mix it up. We can't have, like, the battle Lederhosen or something. The Lederhosen of power.
Yeah.
Oh, the one who is the Lederhosen.
I would
rules
like
Asgard.
I would like to see Loki wear Lederhosen.
So that was fun. Let's go on to Thor number 191.
Beg to differ.
From June of 1971. Written by Stan Lee, penciled by John Buscema, inked by Joe Sinnott, and lettered by Sam Rosen. In their first act as king, Loki orders Odin to go to bed.
Oh god, wait, Odin sleep?
Yep. Thor is like, surely you're not going to just do that. And Odin is like, no, I have to now for some reason.
This sounds like an
It's the
inconveniently
king. I have to
timed-
take a nap.
This sounds like an
Okay.
inconveniently timed Odin sleep.
I'll say.
Absolutely. We then get a baffling exchange where Thor calls his dad a coward, and Odin says Loki is king now, so shut up, and then takes away his mouth.
What?
That's a thing Odin does?
I guess.
Odin engages in some casual body horror.
Do we count that as one of Thor's powers?
No,
that's not Thor's power.
That's Odin's power.
No. Odin takes away Thor's powers. Do we count his voice as a power?
No.
Let's say no.
No.
What the fuck?
I don't know. This is horrifying.
The Thunder God turns to his father to beg forgiveness, probably hoping to have his mouth privileges reinstated. And Odin is like, oh, poor baby, how did this happen to you? As if he didn't fucking do it.
Jesus Christ.
I felt bad. I was upset. It's not my fault. I was upset.
I have mood swings. We all know this.
Anyway, we're all good, right, buddy?
I think
right, little buddy?
Odin might be bipolar.
You make a good case. Jesus Christ.
Thor's mouth reappears in probably the worst sequence that they could have chosen.
No.
I don't like this.
Okay, is this how it's actually happening in real life? Like his teeth are forming on the outside of his fucking mouth?
I don't
and then
know.
slowly his mouth is just appearing around the... Okay.
Odin goes off to the Odin sleep, like, damn, I guess there's nothing I can do about this.
That is extremely inconveniently timed.
While Thor and Sif are like, okay, guess we have to deal with this ourselves. Loki and Karnilla pose back to back in a way that makes me feel like they're in a Disney film about to bust out a banger, because the villains always have the best songs.
So
See, what it makes me think is Charlie's Angels.
Karnilla is that bitch.
She is, yeah. Thor rounds on them, declaring that if it's the ring that gives Loki power, which is categorically untrue because, as stated, we have already done this shit.
Well, Odin clearly says the ring gives him the power because otherwise he wouldn't go to Odin sleep.
Then they will wear it no more.
No, I figured out what it is. It makes me think of that's actually not Charlie's Angels. It makes me think of Team Rocket.
Oh my god, you are so right.
Fuck.
I want to draw that now.
Team Rocket.
I mean,
Holy
the
shit.
dynamic even fucking works.
It really does.
Loki. Karnilla.
Prepare for trouble.
Oh god. Is Balder meow?
That's hurtful.
Okay, but Balder just saying his own name like a fucking Pokemon is really funny.
The Meowth can talk!
Okay, but he still announces himself as Meowth.
Because that's his name.
Right! So
Balder,
Balder would
that's
do
right.
that, right?
Balder, that's right. Anyway, Thor rushes forward to grab Loki's arm. But the trickster embiggens it and punches him into a wall.
When did... Oh, yeah, you did... That's...
Loki is a shapeshifter.
Loki is embiggening. Good job, Loki. I didn't remember you could do that.
Sif calls out to Balder, urging him to save her beloved, but he solemnly informs her that he pledged himself to Karnilla in order to save the Thunder God from death, and being that she is Loki's ally, he can do nothing against them.
That didn't work.
She must be annoyed by this, because she then decides to steal his sword. She used to have one of her own. I don't know why she doesn't anymore, but now she has Balder's, I guess.
I hate this outfit for her. Like, it's not bad looking, but, like, it
It's not
doesn't fit at all.
It's not a bad outfit. It's a bad outfit for her.
Yes.
She runs up to take a swing at Loki, but they continue to grow until they simply scoop her up like an action figure.
Wow.
They keep growing for some reason, busting straight out of the roof.
Don't you live there?
Yeah, and into the open air, where Sif turns them down yet again because we can't get off this whole Loki trying to force Sif to marry them bullshit.
Ugh.
Suddenly the sky opens and rain begins to pour, followed by a blast of lightning straight to the gigantic villain's face. Thor would just like to remind everyone that he is still here, and he is not going to let anyone manhandle his lady. Lightning strikes over and over until finally Loki drops Sif, and she falls directly into the waiting arms of the mighty Thor. Shrinking back down to normal size, the god of evil moves to face his brother. And this exchange at the bottom is really good. So, thou hast to normal size returned, then we shall battle man to man.
Thou art a fool as ever, Thor. Thinkest thou Loki will battle fair?
Be it fair or foul, it matters not. The Thunder God shall best thee. And since we're reading the text, I would like to point out, this issue and the next issue don't have any periods in any of the sentences, and also don't have page numbers.
Yeah, it actually used to be a thing that, not that they didn't have any fucking punctuation, that's weird. But, there used to be a thing where Stan didn't want to end sentences with periods, to exclamation points.
Well, yeah, but the exclamation
They're not
points
here
are
either.
at least something.
They're not here either.
There's nothing.
There's nothing. I didn't notice it, but now...
No, it's strange. This is strange.
It's gonna bother me.
Outside in the city, the warriors of Asgard watch this happen like, God damn it, not again. Every week with this shit. Meanwhile, Odin is like, honk shoo, honk shoo.
Have the guards considered unionizing?
No.
Someone should introduce them to the concept.
Thor throws Mjolnir through a pillar, for some reason, to get to Loki, but the ladder goes intangible and the hammer passes right through them.
Loki. And I say nay, and Thor's I say the yay.
That's kind of funny.
This is a sibling fight.
Yeah,
and
it
Loki
always
is
is.
the victor.
This is a goddamn sibling fight.
Ha ha!
They then decide to conjure a pair of animate gauntlets that fly toward the Thunder God and begin to grapple him.
You can't touch me!
Stop hitting yourself.
That's what this feels like.
Thor shoves Sif aside in a very dismissive way that I don't like, before proceeding to eat shit at the hands of Thing 1 and Thing 2.
I do like that whenever they immediately dismiss Sif, they do generally get fucking bodied.
Yeah. He manages to shatter one of them on the floor, but the other makes off with his hammer somehow, and I'm sure we could get into a debate about whether that's possible or not, but let's save it for another time.
Thing 2 is worthy.
The hand is making an absolute mockery of the mighty Thor, as Baldur begs to be allowed to help and is obviously shut down. Sif tries to make a plea for Loki's sense of decency. Surely they could find some mercy for their own brother. No, obviously, of course not.
This would not be happening if Loki had mercy.
No. Loki chooses that moment to be a creep, but again, we're not going to dwell on it, because he does agree to give Thor some help to even the odds. As far away on a distant planet, the Warriors 3 fight a war of attrition against a seemingly endless wave of fuzzy guys in wrestling shorts. Loki sent them here to get them out of the way, probably hoping that they would be overwhelmed and die at some point, but they continue to fight on with the hope that one day their exile will end. Well, that day is today, as their foes begin to vanish, and Loki's face appears in the sky with an imperial edict. They have decided to bring the Warriors 3 back to Asgard, where they will fight and perish alongside their prince. This seems like a bad idea to me, but I'm not an evil god king, so what do I know? The boys appear in the throne room and immediately move to save the Odinson, with Fandral hurling his sword like a spear straight into the floating glove.
Okay.
Unfortunately, all this has accomplished is giving it another weapon.
Oh no! You've made it more dangerous!
As it continues to fly around, unabated. Hogun and Volstagg start to help Thor to his feet, but he cries out a warning as the enchanted gauntlet begins to fire blasts of force from the hammer.
I told you it was worthy.
Baldur shields Sif as the hand goes wild, blasting everything in its path. Fandral tries to jump and grab onto it, but Loki commands it to smack him into a wall.
Okay. Good job, Fandral.
Carnella stomps her feet and complains about how bored she is. So Loki destroys the hand, causing the hammer to fall back to the ground. Granted a moment's reprieve, the warriors collect themselves before Thor lunges for Mjolnir, only to be knocked back by Loki's telekinesis and pinned against the wall. He is held there, unable to move, while Loki considers how best to dispose of him. The Warriors 3 are also held against the floor, until their turn. Sif tries to get up to do something, but Baldur holds her back and tells her to just wait, as it seems Loki has come up with an idea. The God of Evil bids Carnella use her magic to create a new enemy for Thor to face.
What?
Okay.
What?
I fucking hate thy word is law for Loki wears the ring. Since when have you ever cared about that, my good bitch?
Yeah. Tall and wide, with wicked talons, and strength unparalleled, beholden only to Loki, king of Asgard. She is able to bring this being into the world, but it's only an empty vessel because she can't create life. Loki decides
What the fuck is this guy?
Loki decides to name him Durok the Demolisher, original character, do not steal, and uses the Odin ring to bring him to life, though it's mentioned that he still doesn't have a heart or a soul, so I don't know what they actually did. Thor's released, and no sooner do his feet hit the ground than he's taking a swing at Durok, realizing the carnage that such a creature could wreak. His blow bounces off harmlessly, and in a flash of light, Durok disappears. Loki has sent him to Earth, where he will kill everything in sight on an unstoppable rampage.
Okay, we've already had one of those.
Yep.
We just left one of those moments ago.
The Thunder God immediately takes off after him, shooting off across space to the mortal realm that he is oath-bound to defend. Sif is like, you only made Durok to kill Thor, and Loki's like, yeah, obviously, and then the issue ends. What did you guys think of that one?
I don't
Why?
even care anymore. 2 stars. Nothing matters. I don't care. Nothing matters.
Well, I'm glad you think so. Well, now we are on the last issue of Stan's run.
I can't believe this is how it ends.
This is it.
With an original character. Do not steal.
Not with a bang, but with a fucking tiny whine of a stupid fucking fart.
So we're not even ending on a battle with Hela. We're not ending on a battle with Odin. We're not ending on a battle with Loki.
We're ending on a battle with this fucking chump.
Who was just created last issue.
Yep.
Great.
So this is Thor number 192 from July of 1971. Written by Stan Lee, penciled by John Buscema, inked by Sam Granger, and lettered by Artie Simek.
Okay, still 15 cents.
It is.
But for how long?
Everyone is reacting to this situation exactly how you'd expect them to. No real surprises here. Loki gloats over their imminent victory while Karnilla hypes them up. Sif acts like a boring damsel while Balder does his best to comfort her. The warriors 3 talk amongst themselves, outraged at the goings-on and quite ready to do something about it. What they must do is separate Loki from the ring, and so Hogun moves to strike. The Norn Queen warns Loki just before the mace is hurled. And can I just say, of all the weapons that get thrown around in these comics, this is one of the dumber ones.
If you're trying to detach a ring from
Yeah,
Loki,
why would you throw your mace?
This is going to knock the ring off of Loki's hand, I guess.
Sure.
Not cut Loki's arm off.
Yeah. I mean, like,
It's
usually
not
your
going to cut
go-to...
their arm off, it's a mace.
Usually your go-to weapon for a situation like this, throwing something at a world leader, you're gonna go for a shoe.
That would do something.
Loki repels the mace with a wave and moves to strike down the warrior, while Fandral is ready to fucking party. But Sif steps in, and says that if Loki kills Hogun, he will have to kill all of them, and then he will have no one to rule. And this is categorically untrue. There is a whole city outside, not to mention all the other realms that Asgard presides over. But Loki agrees, so whatever.
Sure.
Durok the Demolisher appears in a New Orleans alley during the middle of Mardi Gras.
He appears in a crowd of clowns.
And
Yep.
nobody realizes this weirdo's, like, terrible.
It's Mardi Gras.
Yeah, it's just
bunch
his
of-
party. His costume.
A bunch of partygoers mistake him for a fellow reveler and try to pull him onto a float, but as they surround him, he bats them all away before beginning to tear shit up at random. Thor appears then, zapping Durek to get his attention. As the two begin to fight, Thor gauges the monster's ability and finds them to be equals in speed, but admits that Durok has the upper hand in strength. Given this, he whirls his hammer to whip up a tornado that sends all the nearby humans to Limbo, where they won't get hurt. Okay, Stan.
Of course.
As you do.
One of the many Marvel limbos, just like one of the many Marvel Satans. His hat's falling off.
Yeah. Durok punched his helmet off. Now on an empty street, the two resume their fisticuffs. I could go through this fight blow for blow, but it's not really that interesting. Back in Asgard, Loki is displeased with how long this is taking.
Loki has been making some really funny faces, but
Yeah.
everything has been just so...
I know.
I haven't noted it.
So they decide to move Durok somewhere else and force Thor to chase him.
Wait.
I don't understand how that's helping your situation.
Yeah, oh no, now Thor's gonna have to kick his ass somewhere else.
Oh no, it's taking too long. Maybe I'll do something that makes it take even fucking longer.
What? Stan, stop writing yourself into the story.
Before he can take off, though, Thor has to return the people that he whisked away. He does so, and wipes all their memories to boot.
He can do that?
Yes, he's done it before.
He has done that.
But now, standing in the pressing crowd of partygoers, he can't get enough space to swing his hammer. So he decides to push one of the buildings over, which I'm sure won't cause any problems for anyone.
You couldn't get on top of a building. You had to move
push
one.
it over.
What the fuck?
And he doesn't even put it back when he's done.
Son of a bitch.
This time, Durock has appeared somewhere. I'm thinking maybe Cuba, because it seems like South or Central America, and there's a cartoonish dictator, and it's coastal. It really doesn't matter for the story, but El Presidente over here is having his military fight Durock until the Demolisher starts to demolish the castle, whereupon he abdicates, freeing the people, and communism is defeated, I guess.
The commies just distinctly didn't do it.
No. Thor arrives to fight Durock once again, as Loki watches on the royal flat screen. They continue to be a creep about Sif. I'm not getting into it.
Honestly, the royal flat screen needs a square.
It really does.
Because they have options. The royal
They
flat
have so
screen,
many.
the royal orb.
Ponder the orb.
I
Nearby.
like the orb.
Nearby, Baldur pleads with his mistress once more. He has a plan to help Thor without directly opposing Loki, and if she truly loves him, she will allow him to enact it. She agrees, but Loki has noticed their whisperings and takes offense. As they move toward Baldur, the Warrior Three take action to save their buddy.
Heaven forbid you whisper some sweet nothings to a girl.
Outside in the hallway, a storm giant stands guard over the throne room. Fandral moves to attack him, providing a distraction just long enough for the Norn Queen to whisk her beloved away to Earth. Loki proves that they are a bad boss by commanding Fandral to kill the giant, but Fandral refuses, so that was a pointless exchange.
Rip Fandral.
I feel bad for this poor giant. This
Right?
is a
He's just
shit
doing his
way-
fucking job.
Right.
Baldur and Carnilla appear on a busy New York street, forcing a trucker to slam on his brakes in order to avoid hitting them.
Wow.
I'd like to call for class solidarity with this poor troll. Or giant, or whatever the fuck he is.
He was a giant.
Okay.
A traffic cop runs over to yell at the guy and check his breath, revealing that Carnilla had made them invisible to everyone except this one specific dude for some reason.
Oh, see, I thought he was gonna get his license taken away.
No. The two of them move into an alleyway, where Baldur uses his enchanted blade to send a signal into the sky, hoping to communicate with the one person on Earth who can save the Thunder God now.
Who?
The battle rages on between Thor and Durock, which, once again, is not at all interesting, until a storm whips up out of nowhere, but not caused by Thor for once.
Thor gets into battle with Durag.
Wow.
And the two are fighting.
It covers the disappearance of Durock yet again, before a ghostly image of Loki and Sif appears before the Odinson. Thor is pretty riled up by the sight of his brother grabbing at his girl, but they're not really there, so he can't do much about it. The trickster informs him that they have sent Durock to the United Nations building. I guess this is just a thing with Loki.
Not the flex you think that is.
Well, Loki has attacked the United Nations before.
Loki, you massively misunderstand what the United Nations building is for.
God, I desperately wish I had the Loki as a sexist square this issue.
Yeah, do you have that? Because it's really bad.
I think I have that.
It's so prevalent.
Yes,
really
it
bad.
is.
And while Thor is dealing with that, he will be powerless to stop Loki from forcing Sif to marry them. Why, God, why must I live in this hell perpetually, forever? Terrible, awful, I die.
You know, every time I read a forced marriage plot, I die a little inside unless it is redeemed somehow.
Yeah.
The default is death.
Meanwhile, Baldur and Carnilla have adjourned to the peak of Mount Everest in search of the ally that will help Thor.
It's kind of a problem. They're having some struggles breathing, but it's all fine. It's fine
No,
now.
they're Asgardians. They don't need to breathe.
Oh, that's
They
true.
can live in
Fuck,
space.
they don't need to breathe. Okay.
So basically, they're going by all the people climbing Mount Everest and laughing at the people dying.
Just walking up like it's a casual fucking stroll.
Yeah, it is for them.
They're passing by the dead guy with the boots.
Who's been there for like 20 years.
He's a guidepost at this point.
Carnella is getting a little annoyed by this wild goose chase and is beginning to question if such a person actually exists. But
Baldur, it's fucking cold. Can we not be on this stupid mountain anymore?
But Baldur assures her that he does. There is someone with the power to aid Thor and vanquish Durock. Someone not of Asgard and not of Earth, but of the stars. That's right. It's the Silver Surfer.
Woo!
And that's the end of Stan's run.
You mean Stan's other fixation, the Silver Surfer?
Wait.
Which means that yes, Thor changed writers in the middle of this extremely subpar story, composed of parts that Stan already fucking used.
What the fuck?
I would love to know the internal logic of that move, but we will never find out, probably.
What the you ended without an ending. What?
I mean, it works in a comic book, that being the ending. But, like...
This is your problem now.
That's how he ends it?
This is Stan walking away from the writer's chair.
Alright, well, like, good. Let's see what happens. See what happens from there. Maybe the storyline picks up. I don't have high hopes.
So what did you guys think of that last...
2.
issue?
Everything is a 2. It's not
I
bad
wasn't-
enough to breach the one zone, because, like, I understand what's happening, but I don't care about any of it.
Right.
Fine, it's a 2. This is how it ends.
This
This
fucking
is-
wet...
This is how the world
Fuck.
ends.
This is how Stan's run of, 30 years of writing?
Not with a bang,
But with a whimper.
Staniel. Why?
Explain yourself, young man.
God, I would hate to go out on such a shit note.
Mm-hmm. It's just like, first of all, it's in the middle of the fucking story,
There are...
and
I've
which is
run
always
into that.
bad.
Yeah, it's
always
always
bad.
bad.
But it's especially bad because it's not even a good story.
Right.
It's always bad when a writer hands off a story.
Here,
It
just
is.
fucking take it. Just deal with it.
Like, I've only encountered a couple people who are capable of handling, like, the whole story, and they turn out to be the same people
Would those
every
people
time.
happen to be Matt Fraction and Kieran Gillen?
Yes! They have consistently handed
Yeah.
off multiple times between each other, and they're very good at it. I found it happen. I know it happened again. I cannot remember when, but I know it's happened more than the times I've mentioned in the past. It's happened again, and it's just wild that they're good at this.
Yeah, they just jive, I guess.
I know, and it's great, and it just makes stuff like this look really, really sad.
I'm so disappointed.
I'm not even angry at him anymore.
Right, I'm not even... if Stanger was on mine, I wouldn't even cross it out, because I'm not angry.
I was angry.
I just
twice.
John got
don't
way more than you
care. I got barely anything, yeah. I just don't care, man.
I was angry, but now I'm just sad.
What are you gonna do since we're done with Stan? Are you just gonna keep the items that you already have for the bingo and just assess the new tropes and stuff as we get into it?
I think that's probably what I'm gonna do, yeah. I am gonna take Stanger off because
Obviously.
it no longer makes sense.
Obviously.
Yeah, we literally can't have it because
I mean, we
Stan
could
is
be
gone.
mad at Stan, but it would be very contrived.
Yeah.
Well, we might still be mad at him next time because he did
set up
this
the
up.
story.
You did this!
Stan, like give him like one more storyline because we may have a
Let's
reason
not. Let's not and say we did.
Let's keep Stanger around for one more storyline
Fair. Okay, you sold me.
because whatever happens next is literally his fault, and he just gave a storyline to someone who.
Yeah, what did you think? Did you rate any of these?
No. Yeah, I mean, I would agree too for the lot. They're just kind of a wet fart that you have to change your underwear afterwards.
Apathy.
What's funny-
I feel nothing but apathy.
What's funny is that the first one of them would have been a better place to end. If he'd walked away then.
The first one really fucking killed me, right? Because, first of all, it was not a great ending to the whole Hela wants to kill Thor thing.
No!
But then the last 2 pages were complete bullshit.
They were, but imagine if he'd ended it there. It's a better
Yeah,
end
I
of
guess
the run.
I would have accepted that because
It's not in the middle of a story, it's at the end of a story and the start of a new one.
Right.
This is literally in the middle of a story!
yeah.
See, this isn't how you do it now. I mean, do it at this point in time, but what I would do, and I think it would work very well with how Marvel works now, is end the volume on Thor's death, and then restart the volume with however we bring Thor back to life with, this is Thor Volume 2!
Well, at this point in time, I don't think they would have actually killed Thor, is the thing.
Yeah,
No, I
nowadays,
know. I'm just saying that's how I
I know Thor dies at some point.
Oh, yeah.
here in
definitely.
2023.
I mean, because I know Thor dies because I've read him coming back.
Yes, you have.
I bet Thor dies plenty. That's fine.
Not as often as a lot of other characters.
Maybe I'm poisoned by my choice of reading material.
You might be. The X-Men have spent a lot of time dying.
They
and
are
coming
known
back.
for the revolving door of death.
Yeah, they must know Hela really well.
Hey, just passing through the revolving door. How you doing, girl?
She
Door
doesn't
keeps
even look up
spinning.
from her paper.
She literally has a revolving door specifically for mutants.
Yeah, you know what it
involved in
is?
X-Men
It's that
shenanigans.
fucking scene from The Simpsons where Grandpa Simpson walks in and then takes his
God.
hat off, turns around, puts his hat back on.
Yeah.
And yes, and Hela really isn't looking up from her paper because she knows who it is. She just sighs as the formerly dead mutant leaves because, of course, it's the 3rd time this year.
So nothing interesting happened this episode.
No, but we are going to talk about Ant-Man.
Right, I was gonna say, nothing
Ant-Man.
interesting happened this movie, but Disney did make a socialist movie.
So, spoilers ahead for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Yeah.
Oh boy. They made their own CG fest to compete with Avatar, I guess.
I mean, does Disney not also already own Avatar? Am I wrong here? I think they do because Avatars,
Yeah,
they have
it's
a
in
literal,
Disney
they have
World.
like they have a Disney World Avatar thing in like the Animal Planet
I
or
mean,
whatever.
it's not unheard of for companies to make competing products against themselves.
I think it's pretty much what you have to do considering Disney owns everything,
Right.
Yeah.
including this comic.
So the movie, though.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's an interesting movie from Disney.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I did like it.
I had a really fun time with this one. Yet again, I don't know, this is just like, to me, the greatest evidence that critics are fucking morons. It seems to me like anymore, whenever I look at anything that has to do with a blockbuster or a kid's movie or anything other than some high-grade fucking art film, we gotta be, like, I don't get it. Why the fuck do we have to be measuring everything on the same scale? You have to take the context into what everything is. It's like, I was saying earlier, you're not going to judge Shrek by the same criteria you judge No Country for Old Men. It doesn't fucking work that way.
Critics do not understand pop art.
This is a comic book movie's comic book movie.
Oh, it was
Ooh.
so comic book.
The ants. The ants. The hyper-advanced ants
They were
who
amazing.
built a civilization.
So, there's this thing happening. With the entirety of Phase 4, and now the first film of Phase 5, where they've been getting, like, all of them almost, not entirely all of them, but most of them are getting critically panned, and there's also a lot of, like, general audiences aren't enjoying them. And, like, almost every single one we've liked.
Yeah. Maybe we
But
have
it's
bad
like-
taste. That's
Maybe
possible.
it's possible that we have bad taste, but it does feel like, you said in the movie, the longer it goes on, the more comic booky it feels.
Well, because that's natural. Because it's all interrelated.
Yeah.
Just like the real thing.
And
This-
people complain about that shit.
This movie stuck the fucking landing for me when it declared that MODOK was actually fucking Yellow Jacket. It was
God,
Darren.
it was incredible.
Darren?
Perfect.
Everyone knew him, too. It was great.
We were in the fucking theater, and a fucking, Ghostbusters man was like, it's a mental organism designed only for killing, and Ripley and I looked at each other. And I literally, like, I needed to use the bathroom, but I knew MODOK was gonna appear at any moment, so I waited.
You waited to see MODOK.
I did.
It's such a good thing
I
that
didn't,
you waited.
I didn't know that. I did not take it from that
Ripley
MODOK
thought it was
coming.
gonna be Patton Oswalt.
I didn't think it was going to be, but I was hoping it was going to be because Patton Oswalt is like my favorite comedian.
He's great.
That would have been good. That
Well,
would have
and
worked.
also he played MODOK in the MODOK show.
Exactly.
And that's probably why
I
it
didn't
would
just
work.
randomly think, it's like, it'd be great.
Hey, no.
Patton Oswalt suddenly appeared.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with a good fan cast.
But no, it was fucking Darren. Which was almost better.
It's perfect. The MCU kills all their villains, so bringing this guy back as MODOK is just...
Incredible.
It's the perfect comic
This-
book move.
This movie actually did that a couple times, because they did... Well, I mean, first of all, the first Kang was actually killed in the Loki show, and then they
Right.
killed the Kang in this movie, and then there's more of him. So
A lot more.
this movie just looked at the MCU's history of killing off their villains and was like, fuck that.
Oh, you got a problem with villain killing, huh? No, we don't. We no longer have a problem with killing villains. In fact,
Permadeath? I don't think so.
we got the one guy, we got the one villain, but we've got a lot of him.
That's the thing I'm really excited about with the multiverse, though, is that potentially
Anyone can come back.
you can undo all of Marvel's early mistakes with the MCU. They're nothing.
Right.
You can bring in new elements like the X-Men or
Oh God,
Inhumans or whatever the fuck you're
we
doing.
could see Steve Rogers again.
That's America's ass.
We could bring back America's ass.
As a different actor, hopefully. Not that I have a problem with Chris Evans. He's just done with it.
I don't know. I heard more recently that he'd be a little more willing than he was when he decided to quit.
Oh, I'm sure.
The thing is, like, I think he was, like, probably just grown in a lab to be Captain America.
Yeah.
But I feel like that would probably take the wind out of Sam's wings, and I don't want to see that.
And to be
Exactly.
fair, they've done that to.
They've done that in the fucking comics,
Yes.
and I don't want to see it.
I
Oh, I
have
hated
seen that
that.
happen in the comics.
Sucks. One thing I will say is that a lot of people are saying that movie wasn't funny enough to be an Ant-Man movie, and I disagree. It had funny moments. It was still funny. And it wasn't that, like, so extremely funny like
We were
Love
watching
and Thunder was.
right, and we were watching Ant-Man the other day, and it's definitely a different tone,
Right.
but it's still there, and that's also the point that, like, I think anybody in the audience who, assumedly you all read comic books, but anyone in the audience who reads comic books, I think understands that when you pick up a book, you never know what you're going to be, particularly if you're picking up a new volume or a new
Mhm.
writer.
Mhm.
You don't know what focus they're going to take. I think there's just as much room for a funny heist story as there is something with a little more gravity, I
Mhm.
guess. A little more weight on the story. And I just also, I love Hank Pym.
Movie Hank Pym.
Movie Hank Pym.
specifically.
Movie Hank
Gotta
Pym.
make that clear.
Do
The
not take that out of context. I fucking hate.
Comic Hank Pym is human garbage.
I have such differing opinions between fucking source material Hank Pym and MCU Pym. It's ridiculous.
The extended Pym family tree is great, but Hank himself in the comics? Trash. Garbage. Throw this man out.
Love the MCU Ant Fam.
Yeah, they're great.
Sitting there realizing that I may have a found family thing going on with that, though.
Oh God, I just realized they managed to do it twice. They've given Hank Pym, both Hank Pyms, great extended families.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna adapt him.
That's kind of important. So when is this Hank Pym going to show that he's actually horrible trash?
He's not Tony's horrible trash in this
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, Tony made Ultron.
True, because Tony made Ultron.
Tony absorbed all of Hank's bad parts.
He did.
Along
Ultron-
with his own bad parts.
Right,
because
which is why
Ultron-
people hate him now.
Ultron is the core terribleness that Comic Hank is cursed with.
I mean, he's also kind of bad in his own right.
Yeah,
but
he's
yeah.
just
I know,
but
kind of a shitty guy.
But
mess.
Ultron sort of represents, like, the core of the
yeah,
shittiness.
definitely.
And because Comic Hank did it, but Movie Hank didn't do it, then that means that Movie Hank can be all the kind of fun parts of
Movie
Comic
Hank is kind of a comrade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Movie Hank showing up with his army of communist ants.
He did literally call them, say they're socialist. We
He
could learn a
did.
few things
We
from
could
them.
learn a few things from them. This whole movie had a very weird bend towards that.
Yeah.
After, a revolution overthrowing the dictator. Dictator
And
Kang.
not just that, the fact that
Cassie got arrested for stopping a fucking cop from
True.
tear gassing protesters.
True.
No, tear gassing homeless
homeless
people.
people.
True.
I think that was done a little bit ham-fistedly, but it was a way to, I think, establish what our theme for the movie was. As we move into the quantum realm, and suddenly all these people there realize that their collective power matters.
Also,
They
Cassie,
can wield their collective power against the powers that be that are trying to oppress them.
This is a dangerous message for a gigantic megacorp to be
Ah.
saying.
It's strange. It's a little clumsily handled, I think, because they are a gigantic megacorp.
Yeah.
And now I
And
haven't.
not a bunch of fucking
Now-
sociology nerds.
Now, mind you, I haven't watched this myself, but apparently Andor, from Disney, leans into this kind of messaging
Well,
heavy as well.
I
Well,
guess
the
if they're
thing
giving
is-
creators a little more creative freedom.
Right, that's what I was about to say. Is I think I would credit it more to the creators than the company.
Yeah,
It's just strange giving it the pass.
Right.
I think people smarter than me have had plenty to say about subversive art by the mega companies.
There's something to say that there may be a degree of disingenuousness, but the message comes through, I guess.
But
Yeah.
what does it say when it is coming from the mega?
Exactly. And I have weird feelings about this movie, even though I enjoyed it a lot. It's generally, I have weird feelings about this bending positive, as opposed to when I came out of Spider-Man Homecoming, I was like, I have weird feelings about this, probably negative.
And then over time you were like, I hate this movie.
And then I came around to actually liking that
And then
movie
you
again.
liked it, and then Far From Home came out and you hated it again.
I didn't hate Homecoming, I just hated Far From Home with a burning passion.
Right.
You don't hate Homecoming. You hate what Homecoming has made you into.
I love Adrian Toomes, and he's got a fucking point.
He does. Adrian Toomes was right.
Anyway, here's our probably bad rating on Ant-Man Quantumania.
Yeah, our reading on Ant-Man, Adrian Toomes was right.
Adrian Toomes was right. Hank Pym was a comrade.
Yes, Adrian Toomes, a man not
also-
even in this movie, was
Also,
right.
the movie Family.
So what we should be calling it is Fast Ant-Man Quantumania. Because family.
I wish there was a way to make that work, but it's terribly clunky.
That's the point. Be clunky. Quantumania is already pretty clunky. Come on.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
It has
one.
a
That's
clunky title.
Icky.
Which feels...
Stupid.
I will say, it feels right for an Ant-Man movie to have clunky title. Scott Lang is clunky.
I love him. I love Comrade Lang.
I liked Kang a lot.
Oh.
He was a really good villain.
God, I'm
And he's
blanking.
going to continue to be a
I'm
really good
blanking
villain.
on his actor's name.
I do not.
He sold the gravitas,
No, I
though.
didn't.
That's another point where sometimes the gravitas doesn't always balance completely right, though it generally did.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
It was at its best with the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
Though his acting is... I love his acting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Something didn't quite mesh up there, but... No.
I liked his outfit,
Mhm.
and I also liked how they did Blue Mask, because there's this weird thing about Kang where he has this mask that's blue, but it acts like his face, right?
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. And they did that, I think they handled that really well in the movie.
Okay, so I just came up with a question right now.
What?
So, Kang is descended from the Richards family, right?
What?
What?
Isn't he?
What?
Isn't he?
What?
This is
Isn't
news
he?
to me.
What?
Isn't he?
I don't know.
Isn't
Jonathan Majors. That's who plays Kang.
Well, let's look this up. It's
And
fucking Kang.
I will say,
Kang, who are you?
Kang, who are you? Just Kang.
just
no
give
other
me,
criteria, just Kang.
just give me Kang.
Oh my god, you got him.
It did work, but that wasn't what I didn't click the right button. We want Marvel Database Kang. We don't want Marvel.com Kang.
No.
Bring me Kang!
The Marvel
He's Nathaniel Richards. He's related to the... Oh, wait, come back here, bitch! Where the fuck are you?
Why don't you just use the fandom wiki?
Why am I doing this instead of just searching Kang? I'm here. Kang!
Oh god! You are so ridiculous.
What is going on?
That's how he's Nathaniel Richards.
What the fuck?
Who doesn't get
You
his own
didn't know
page?
that?
No!
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like, are the Richards family black? Because that'd be cool.
Well, not in this iteration.
He is, let's see. Well, we don't know. That read was from a different universe.
I mean, this comic one.
Well, duh.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
What Ripley's talking about the MCU.
Right.
Oh, how far? Let's see.
Nathaniel Richards.
I mean, if it's very far in the future, they
Ancestor.
really don't have to be.
That's true. but I thought
Victor
they
Von
weren't.
Doom?
Yeah. Yeah, Kang and Doom are allegedly the same person, actually.
Are they? I hadn't
What?
heard that.
Well, it hasn't ever been confirmed, but there is, like...
He is related. They aren't related closely enough that that's not a possibility.
So, Nathaniel Richards and Cassandra Richards are ancestors.
Right. They're related, but they're distantly related enough that they could be entirely different skin tone.
Mm.
I was just wondering. I was just sitting there thinking
Well,
about it.
I thought Kang came from, like, the far future.
He does. He's a distant descendant, I think.
Damn you, Richards family!
Yeah, the Richards family really do just get fuck everywhere.
Reed
A
Richards.
lot of people do.
Reed
Yeah.
Richards is responsible for a lot of bad things.
Anyway, before I got us up on this fucking tangent, I don't remember what the fuck we were talking about. I just had to Google Kang.
Kang!
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. It's like, there's another good thing about the casting. I do enjoy that Pharaoh Kang is no longer just a white guy.
Right?
Ooh, yeah,
That
was...
was... yikes.
He looks cool, too.
Oh,
It
yeah.
does look really cool.
So I'm guessing, would that be Rama Tut?
Yes, I believe that is.
'Cause-
So,
Uh,
the story of Kang in the comics is basically that he's a guy from the future who I think invents time travel and uses it, but then gets stuck in ancient Egypt and becomes a pharaoh. Except in the comics, he is fully snowy white. So it's weird, but they fixed it in the MCU.
Yes.
Which is great.
In fact, having very black pharaohs is very much a thing. The Kingdom of Kush does eventually conquer and rule over the Egyptian lands as a pharaonic dynasty. So, the more you know.
Do, 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 do. In closing, we stand in solidarity with Comrade Pym.
In opposition to the evil overlord Kang.
We must overthrow Kang. We must seize the means of production.
If only Taika Waititi was there to ask if these people needed rebellion help.
Yeah, God. Oh, this story of Taika had done it, man. But still, I like what we got. If you want to see a video version of the show, see Odin's new fit, follow us on YouTube. We have a version that we put out with little clips of the stuff we're talking about. Like, subscribe, hit the bell button. We'd really appreciate that. If you'd like to donate, we do have a Patreon. We just put out our Super Bowl special, and we do have something coming up for this month as well. We put out a bonus-ode once every month. But the thing you can do most of all for us is rate, review, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your boss, don't tell your boss.
Unless your boss is cool.
Yeah, if your boss is cool, like if your boss lets you say fuck at work, probably tell your boss.
Yeah.
That's true. We shouldn't be entirely boss exclusive.
We shouldn't be racist against bosses.
It's true.
Yes, you should.
If you want to email us your thoughts on Quantumania, hit us up over at comicsplaining@gmail.com. We're also on Tumblr, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're going to be back at you with our retrospective on Season 1 next week, and we look forward to talking to you then. Bye!
Bye.
Bye.